Hi, everyone. I'd like to slowly move down. We're going to start in about 10, 15 minutes. We'll start the formal ceremony. So 6 o'clock, we'd like everybody down. So 2 more minutes. Is it too loud? You know, the same thing happened in Seattle when we were there. All Okay, this time it's real. Come down, everybody. What happened, Kat?
Can I just slide it here? So
Yeah, slide it.
just like
Yeah, look at it. You can actually,
that's a little too risky.
you can actually leave it on the chair. Those chairs are for Okay, 2023 graduates. We cannot have a graduation ceremony without the graduates. Can all the graduates please come down?
Okay, everyone, we're going to get started in about 1 minute. Okay, well, thanks. Well, good evening, and welcome to ID's graduation reception. My name is Shari Jones, and I am the Director of Student Success here at ID. This year, we are hosting our graduation reception in tandem with the end-of-year show because IIT has made some changes to commencement, and it is now held off-site. And ID's ceremony will be with 2 other colleges, so we wanted to keep it ID's tradition and do something special for our students who are graduating. Will all of the fall and spring graduates please stand so we can celebrate you all? Woo! Okay. All right. You can be seated. I just want to I'm sorry, 4 and a half. Tonight we will have a word from our Dean Anijo, Mathew, 2 student speakers, and an ID alumna, Fath. I would like to take a few moments to say a few words to the graduating class. The spring graduates and I started ID together in August of 2021. And we navigated the ins and outs through this ID journey together. And I want to thank you all and the fall graduates for being patient with me as I learned my new role and getting settled in. It was a bit bumpy at first, but we made it through. So I'm very, very proud of you all, immensely proud. I will miss you guys dearly on behalf of the faculty and staff and your fellow students. So congratulations. I now have the pleasure to introduce our Dean, Anijo Mathew, to move us forward in the program. Anijo.
Good evening. Pleasant weather outside, huh? Welcome to the 82nd graduation ceremony of the Institute of Design at Illinois Tech. My name is Anijo Mathew. I'm the Dean of the Institute of Design. As Shari said, the official commencement ceremony is tomorrow at McCormick Place, but we always try to do something special for our students here in our beautiful home. And so this way, all of their partners, their parents, and their friends can actually see what the heck they've been doing with all these sleepless nights they've been spending here. That's the reason we do this here. I want to start today with a message of my own. I was at an event this week where the co-CEO of the company made a statement, and he said, this is a saying from Texas. I just cannot get it out of my head. He said, if you do what you always did, you get what you always got. If you do what you always did, you get what you always got. Remember when you were a little kid? Remember how you approached the world with this carefree abandon? One day your teacher tells you, let's draw watermelons today. So you pick up your crayons and your pencil colors and then look at your friends and you see, Matt here is drawing these big watermelons and he's detailing out the greens and the yellows. Maura is taking a different approach. She's actually making a slice with little seeds in there. So you want to be different and you decide to draw a pink and blue watermelon. In the end, it looks nothing like a real watermelon. Your teacher looks at the work and she says, wow. You take it home and your parents are like, I have no idea what you just did. But these are your parents, so they frame it up and put it on the wall, right? And you look at it and you feel so proud. Then one day, a random uncle or aunt comes home. They look at this painting and they say, "What is this? Watermelons are supposed to be green and red, not pink and blue. This is terrible." They say this with such certainty and confidence. All that pride that you had in your work, poof, disappears in one statement. When we are kids, we approach the world with what I call creative naivety. We don't know if something will work out, but we will try it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. We're not afraid of failure. We don't care what others think. We just shape the world. We want the world to be shaped. Then we hit up against our wonderful education system. And for 12 years, our teachers beat this creativity out of us. We are told constantly that there is a right answer, and our job is to find that right answer. And so we spend the rest of our lives looking for this right answer. Guess what? There is no right answer. Okay, take that back. If you're in the business of maintaining status quo or management, there is a right answer. But in our line of business, there are no right answers. There are good answers and there are bad answers. There are appropriate answers and there are inappropriate answers. But there are always better answers than the one that we are presented today. The truth is, we are not afraid of failure. We are afraid of the concept of failure. We are genetically tuned to navigate towards certainty because we understand it. We are afraid of the ambiguity that unknown territories present. After all, if we can see a certain present, we prefer that over an uncertain future. And this is further accentuated by the people around you who convince you that certainty is the only option you have. They say this with conviction, so much conviction, that you doubt your own intuition. When you came to ID, we promised you the best years of your life. And I think you'll agree we delivered. Our faculty has worked hard to provide you a structure by which you can approach uncertain futures. But you have to pick what to do. You have to pick what you will do and how you will approach this uncertain futures with this structure. It's okay to be a little intimidated. I was too when I graduated. It's okay to be unsure of your next step, but always maintain a healthy skepticism of anyone who says they have the right answer. If you do what you always did, you get what you always got. Remember that uncle who said that watermelons are green and red? Guess what color a watermelon takes when you put it under infrared light? Pink and blue. So my dear ID students, don't be afraid of ambiguity and uncertainty. In a world obsessed with certainty, future leaders will differentiate themselves with their ability to visualize uncertain futures, prototype potential trajectories, and implement forward momentum. There are enough people who can manage a certain present, but not enough of us who are brave enough to run heads first into uncertain futures. Don't be afraid to paint the watermelons pink and blue. Best of luck. Thank you. At this time, it's my proud privilege to introduce our alumni speaker. We always try to get an alumni to come and speak to you, someone who has achieved so much that you feel this is the person you want to be when you grow up. Megan Fath, an alumni of ID, MDes 2003, 20 years ago. Megan is a managing director at Deloitte and the chief design officer for Deloitte Digital. Megan is a self-proclaimed advocate for the next generation of design leaders, both within Deloitte and C-suites everywhere. She and I talked about this, and she was very clear about how underrepresented minorities, women, Black Americans, Hispanics, they don't necessarily step in and claim these positions of power, even if they present an uncertain future. Her speech today will give you some insight into how you might do that. Please join me in welcoming Megan to the stage.
Thank you. I owe you for pointing out that 20-year. Hopefully I'm wearing it all right. Congratulations, class of 2023. Today it is my privilege to welcome you to the distinguished community of ID alum. Now you're our peers and creative accomplices, and we're thrilled to bring you into our fold. We're going to sponge those big, beautiful minds of yours and look to you to help us navigate what comes next into design. In this alum community, and I see many of them here today, you will see folks that have shaped their own paths, navigated many different evolutions of design, and confronted different technology disruptions. I'd be amiss, I'm going to mention AI once, and then that's it today. So. In my own time since graduating ID 20 years ago, this group has become my best friends, my confidants, my fellow faculty members, recruiters, and mentors. Though it's a community that has spanned many eras, we all share the same ethos and guiding principles that we learned here at ID. Look around at this room. See where you are at this moment and who is around you. I was in those chairs, not exactly those chairs, and another one in a building a little further north, but we are all connected, everyone in this room. Now, I would also be short-sighted not to recognize and welcome the loved ones of our graduating class here today. You, too, are part of a long-standing community of folks that gave words of support and encouragement in some of their darkest days at the school. And now you too are going to join yet another long-standing community, those of the loved ones, spouses, partners that wonder, what is this career ahead? And if it's any comfort, my parents are still puzzled why I travel the globe to draw pictures. So, now, back to our class of 2023 here. Candidly, I'm here on a mission. And that is, I am here to recruit you as human-led leaders. Before I become besieged with resumes, this is an opportunity beyond Deloitte. This is an open call, much more broadly. Every Fortune 500, nonprofit, government agency, startup, all need human-led leaders. And I've not made it a secret, as Anijo, you pointed out, that I want to put more creative mindsets and empathetic leaders in the C-suite. And why is that? Because this is the moment. There has never been a moment of more complex problems looking for more humanity. Logic will only get us so far in this journey. I recently was sitting next to a high-profile CMO of a global bank, and she turned to me and said, there is no going back now from empathetic leadership. So this starts with you. Before I detail the job description, which I know you all are exhausted by looking at right now, let me assure you that you already have a jump start on all the qualifications, because you got them here. As you set out to be a human-led leader, it's much more than launching a product. It is that, and it's more. All of the skills you've acquired here are relevant to that. ID is just simply about looking at them in a different context. ID will change how you see the world and lead. You've acquired more than a toolbox for solving problems. Frameworks, analytical tools, and research methods are all that foundational muscle that will make you an exceptional human-led leader. Not a day goes by that I don't consciously or unconsciously put what I've learned at this institution to use, sometimes in some unexpected ways. So I'm going to give you guys, with this job opening of human-led leader, I'm going to give you 3 qualifications you already have and 3 challenges moving forward. And I can't resist pointing out, it's a 3x3. I'm sure by the time I'm done with this talk, someone would have drawn a diagram. So let's start off with the qualifications. And again, you've already had these imparted here in the Institute of Design. 1, understand behaviors. 2, navigate ambiguity. And 3, reframe the problem. So let's talk a little bit about the understand behaviors. In this moment, to truly solve the problems of humanity, we need to aspire to encourage people to lean in to those behaviors that are beneficial to them and society more broadly. We understand behaviors and people's motivation, so we can guide our peers, our friends, to seize the opportunity and look for more ways to act positively in the world. The second one, navigate ambiguity. Every project here has a certain degree of unknown. And every decision, even the decision to come here, required a bit of leap of faith and probably some buy-in from your loved ones. But truthfully, that ambiguity doesn't diminish. In fact, it grows exponentially. It's everything from navigating the unknown element of your career, team pivots, acquisitions, just to name a few. I guarantee you there will be a moment one of your team members will ask you a question in which you don't have the answers. Yet you do know how to help them lean in and see the promise of that future tomorrow, to navigate that ambiguity. Truthfully, ID helped me prepare for probably one of the most ambiguous moments of my own personal life outside of work. So in late March 2020, and I'm sure everyone's like, okay, that was the time that we were all hit with the unknown aspect of COVID. I actually walked into NYU Hospital 38 weeks pregnant. And for record, that was the historic worst week in New York City. The entire medical team and I, right, we were in uncharted waters. So much was not known about COVID. And yes, in one moment when faced with a hard decision during the labor experience, I did ask for a whiteboard. So again, ID comes in all kinds of unexpected ways. So the last qualification that I have for my unofficial job description for you is your ability to reframe or look at problems differently. I will warn you that your loved ones will find this annoying. And you think it's endearing. But it will be your superpower in every team, board, and conference room. So those are 3 of probably many more qualifications that you've acquired here to set you up for success as a human-led leaders. Now, and honestly, those probably feel really natural and working on projects, but they're far wider reaching skills than projects alone. They're jump starts to great leadership. So now for the 3 challenges. 1, embrace divergence. 2, recognize our privilege. And 3, lean into the journey. So seek divergence in your inner circle. And here at ID, we've often talked about the exponential power and impact of bringing teams of human-centered designers to solve problems. So I think oftentimes the assumption is that to succeed, we need to surround ourselves with like-minded people. In my own career journey, truthfully, I would say yes and. I've had the benefit of working with those that have come from business and engineering schools. Very different cultures. Candidly, I would not be the chief design officer without people with those backgrounds, in particular 2 individuals. They never attended a design class. And yet, we've learned so much from one another. 4 years ago, I took those 2 to a bar, and I shared with them my big, daunting, wild ambition to be a partner at a consulting firm where you could literally count on your hands how many had a creative background. And then, also, at the same time, my desire to be a single mother by choice. And those things were going to have to be pursued in parallel. Now, fast forward to this fall, when again I raised the aspirations higher to be the second only in history chief design officer and the first woman to do so. And in both of those instances, because I had brought Amelia and Jeff into my inner circle, they wrapped their arms around my aspiration, made it their own, and helped me navigate, honestly, a course that I didn't know how to proceed. So I would encourage you all to celebrate the diversity of thinking. Draw in the people that think differently. You'll help them achieve wild, ambitious things on their own, and vice versa. The second challenge I have for you all is to recognize our privilege. To be a human-led leader, we need to consider lived experiences beyond our own. Coming to this amazing graduate program is a privilege in and of its own that not everyone can do. Give your microphone to someone else. This is different than giving voice to others. Give your microphone. Never before has it been so needed and evident that we need to give opportunities to others that otherwise would not have them. To solve the most difficult challenges in our next evolution, we need people with diversity to make those decisions. Lastly, last challenge, you all. And this honestly is my hardest and still in progress challenge. Because the truth is, to be a human-led leader, it's relentless. It simply does not take a break. Yes, the rewards are tremendous, the impact is deep. Yet it's a constant high bar that you set yourself up against and others hold you up to. Tomorrow, you will not wake up as a human-led leader. It is a process and an evolution. Finding the authentic, vulnerable you will take time. And you also have to be kind to yourself and forgive your stumbles. Honestly, I almost scrapped this talk a few days ago because I had an interaction that caused into question my own self-view as an authentic leader. And he was absolutely right, this individual. I could have been better in that moment. Yet one interaction doesn't subtract all other efforts. Learn from your mistakes. Being a true human leader is to own them. It sounds a little reductive, but be human about being a human-led leader. So these 3 challenges, they might feel big. They're not going to be solved overnight. But it is a process you know well of iteration, collaboration, reflection, and stumbles. This program has given you all of the tools, frameworks, and approaches that you need to tackle them. So in closing, when you go upstairs, look deeply at the work on those walls. They will give you a glimpse of the big hearts, toned brain muscles, and attuned ears of our future design-led leaders. Thank you, Anijo, for the very kind and generous offer to talk today. I could not be more proud to welcome this class as human-led leaders to set out and disrupt the typical norms. We will be a better world for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. So our next speaker is one of our Spring 23 graduates, Latrina Lee. Come on up.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening, family, friends, faculty, and staff. Thank you for joining us to celebrate the graduating class of 2023. My name is Latrina Lee, and it is an incredible honor to stand before you today as we celebrate this momentous occasion. Congratulations to my fellow graduates, the Institute of Design class of 2023. As we begin this evening celebrating our achievements, let's enjoy our final night together in Chicago's noisiest building, which is pretty quiet today, so I mean, it might not count. And so tonight we stand at the threshold of a new chapter in our lives, a chapter brimming with boundless possibilities and potential. You have all truly been an inspiration to me. Your brilliance, your fearlessness, and motivation has been my favorite part of ID for the past 2 years. At the 85th anniversary of this very institution, we raised the question of what will we call the next era of design. In conversations with one another, projects with clients, interviews with potential employers, and in the classrooms and halls of this very building, we have explored the many possibilities for the future and value of design. This evening, I want to share with you a vision and a reminder. Inspired by conversations with all of you, the learnings from our time at ID. This is also inspired by a quote from poet Maya Angelou. Do the best you can until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. This is a vision of a future where human-centered designs help shape the world we live in. It's not a buzzword, it's not a passing trend. It's a powerful philosophy, a mindset that places human needs, aspirations, and experiences at the core of our work. It is about understanding that every solution we create, every product we design, and every system we build should be with the intention of improving the lives of society as a whole. As we step into the next chapter of our lives, we will face many challenges and opportunities. This world is evolving at an unprecedented pace, and the problems we face are increasingly complex and interconnected. Climate change, social inequality, and technological disruption are just a few of those pressing issues that demand our attention. But in the face of these challenges, human-centered design becomes imperative. You all are imperative. Imagine a world where the impact of climate change is mitigated through innovative, sustainable design solutions that prioritize environmental preservation while enhancing human well-being. An equitable world where smart cities seamlessly integrate technology, systems, and infrastructure to create inclusive, accessible spaces for all. A world where healthcare systems are revolutionized, offering personalized care and empowering individuals to take charge of their well-being. It is a future that acknowledges the power of design to shape perceptions, transform lives, and create a more just and equitable world. By embracing human-centered design methods, we can unlock the true potential of design and use it as a force for powerful change. Fostering a society that celebrates diversity, empathizes with others, and fearlessly challenges the status quo. This is the power of human-centered design. But this vision is not just a dream. For the past 2 years, we have been prototyping the future. It is within our reach, and it starts with each and every one of us graduating today. As graduates of the Institute of Design, we possess a unique set of skills, knowledge that empowers us to make a difference. We are not superheroes, but we have the potential to shape the future through our work, our creativity, our approach to ambiguity, and our ability to work with others. But remember, it's not just about technical expertise, frameworks, methods, or design thinking. In this future, design transcends the boundaries of frameworks and methods and recognizes the richness that comes from different backgrounds, cultures, and experience of all stakeholders. It is about embracing diversity, fostering inclusivity, and listening to the voices of those who have been marginalized or unheard. It is about questioning the status quo and challenging the assumptions that underpin our systems and structure. We must recognize the injustices and inequalities that persist in our society, but we aim to address them head-on through our work. It is about being bold and courageous in the pursuit of change. As we embark on our respective careers, I urge you all to keep those learnings from our time at ID close to your heart. Be curious, constantly seeking to understand the needs and desires of the people we serve. Collaborate with others, recognizing that the most impactful solutions are born through the collaborative efforts of our diverse mindsets. Be resilient in the face of failure and setbacks, for innovation often arises from learning and adapting. But above all, never lose sight of the power you hold as human-centered designers. We are the change makers. You have the ability to shape the future of our world, to make it more compassionate, more equitable, more just, more sustainable. Each decision we make and each project we undertake, we can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond what we can even imagine. So, as you all walk across the stage tomorrow, just remember that you are not just graduating from an institution, you are graduating into a world that is hungry for your ideas, your passion, your commitment to being human-centered designers. Embrace the challenges that lie ahead, and let us together create a future where that the needs and dreams of every individual are at the forefront of our work. Congratulations, class of 2023. The future is in your hands, and I have absolutely no doubt that you will shape it with the same wisdom, compassion, and transformative power you've shown as a student of the Institute of Design. Thank you. Simply fantastic. Our next speaker is also a graduate, Catherine Gowland.
Good evening. To reflect on our responsibility as designers, I'm going to begin with a story from my garden. When I moved to Chicago to start this master's program, for the first time in my life, I had outdoor space to call my own, a modest 50-square-foot balcony, but with sunlight beaming down on it for most of the day. So it didn't take long for me to acquire the ingredients needed for a garden: a large garden bed, heaps of soil and fertilizers, and a variety of seed packets. When spring finally arrived in the city last year, I had trays and trays of little seedlings sprouting in no time. So the garden was going, but by this time, after almost a year at ID, there was something haunting me that I could not ignore any longer: my food waste. I just could not help but ask myself, how might I satisfy the nutrient-rich soil needs of my balcony garden with the food scraps from my kitchen? What would be needed to create a symbiotic relationship between the formerly linear supply chain of my food, from the grocery store to my kitchen to my mouth, or the waste bin, and feed my plants with that excess? These thoughts soon led me to receive a package in the mail. I remember scurrying downstairs upon receiving it, the delivery notification, and announcing proudly to my doorman that the package contained 1,000 red European nightcrawler worms. He nearly threw the package at me in horror and disgust. Throughout that summer, I listened to my plants. I observed their growth and behaviors and reacted with adjustments to their positioning, organic fertilizer levels, and quantity of water. My partner and I liberally picked the dill, parsley, mint, basil, and rosemary herbs, but noticed that the fruiting plants were still not producing by the time the first chilly winds of September swept through the city. We were sitting on the balcony one morning enjoying breakfast when, mid-conversation, I interrupted him with a sharp "Shh, there's a bee." A bee had found my one 5-square-foot garden bed on the 11th story of an apartment in downtown Chicago. But to our delight, it danced around the plants a few times, and the next week we started to see the fruits of its labor. So once my seedlings had begun to take root, my partner started to notice my new hobby, and coming from a chemistry background, saw an opportunity to poach a variety of the seedlings for a hydroponic experiment that he'd set up next to my soil-based garden, now his control group. After he got the cascading, slow-running waterfall working through his PVC pipes, pumped with cycling water from a reservoir that he monitored the nitrogen and phosphorus levels of, the results of the experiment were soon clear that for a quarter of the effort to maintain, he could produce 10x the yield that the soil garden could. And I see some of your faces, and you might be thinking, "Ooh, that's some steep competition." But those metrics surely do indicate success and potential for profit with such a large difference in efficiency between the two gardens. But the goal of my soil-based garden was never to optimize yields. It wasn't really about yield at all. It was about experimentation, prototyping, listening and iterating, getting my hands dirty to learn about the needs of my plants and thinking in systems about the potential to repurpose food waste with the help of worms. But which of these approaches to gardening is better? Which one might be right to choose to scale up or invest in for our future? If we care about climate change and feeding the world, surely the semi-automated, more efficient hydroponic system. Let's imagine a world where hydroponic systems are the new norm. They've popped up in controlled environment agricultural facilities like greenhouses all over the world. And AI advancement has alleviated the need to pay for human labor to manage the pH and nutrient levels in the water that's cycling through these closed-loop facilities, so profits are high, universal access to healthy food options are high, and the use of artificial pollinators is standard because bees are endangered. We've solved global food insecurity, but at what expense? I've recently been inspired by the way that Max Tegmark, a leading AI researcher, is asking this question. At what expense are we adopting new technologies into our lives? He recently compared large language models like ChatGPT to the concept of Malik. Malik is essentially when some force or monster pits people or companies against each other in a race to the bottom where everyone ends up losing. During the rise of innovation in the design of social media apps, the quick adoption of influencers to use Facetune beauty filters was an example of Malik. Once some were quick to adopt, others felt like they had to as well to keep up and stay relevant, and now everyone's on the same playing field again, but on a whole new level of unrealistic beauty standards and mental health effects. Sound familiar to what seems to be happening with AI today? AI has the potential to replace the need for a lot of human jobs. We need to stop and ask, why are we embedding large language models in a given product or service in the first place? We don't need to outsource a skill or a job just because it's possible. As designers, we should be discerning about where large language models are helpful assistants to complement or enhance human abilities, and where they're not appropriate to leverage because they're in conflict with human morals or responsibilities that we really derive value from doing manually. So how do we figure out what those guiding morals and desirable responsibilities are? We ask people. We conduct user research so that we can design by humanity for humanity and not by humanity for Moloch. So now let's revisit that earlier question between the soil-based and hydroponic gardens. Which one is the future? Both are. We can't just steamroll over the value of natural systems in the name of progress, but we're also destroying our planet right now. So we need to embrace innovation to address our planet's most wicked problems like global food insecurity and feeding the human race. As designers, we must operate in that gray space and float between these two worlds of embracing cutting-edge innovation and staying wary of unintended consequences. We don't need to wonder how we might do this. As Latrina shared, we already are. We've spent the past 2 years asking, just because it can be designed, should it? And creating experiential ways to effectively communicate intangible, future-focused, intended and unintended consequences of innovation. In a moment, we'll look behind those curtains up there and reveal the gallery of work behind it, showcasing provocations like board games that can help stakeholders plan for a future where there are clear pros and cons to embracing trends in wearable tech and 24/7 biometric data tracking, or projects that target behavioral design and infrastructural opportunities for protein sources like clams or insects to feed future generations. So my final message to my fellow graduates is that wherever we work, wherever we find ourselves after ID, we can't fall for Malik. We can't race forward in the name of progress or profit without noticing the bee or thinking of the worms. Noticing where there are crucial aspects of natural systems, we need to be advocating for designing with. After the ceremony, Latrina and I would love to invite graduates to help yourselves to a plant cutting at a table to the right on the top of the stairs from either my or Latrina's garden, and their root systems have been growing throughout our time here. Bring it with you wherever your life is about to take you. Plant it, nurture it, listen to its needs, and celebrate its growth. Let it stand as a daily reminder on your desk that just as we have a responsibility to listen to the needs of these plants, we too must advocate for all living beings in our careers as designers. Thank you to everyone here and online. Congratulations, ID Class of 2023. We are the future of design, and I can't wait to see what we grow. Thank you.
Let's give one more round of applause for Megan, Latrina, and Kat. I am going to close out this graduation ceremony. Thank you, everyone, for coming to our beautiful home to be part of this important ID ritual. We have done it for 82 years now. Tomorrow, these students will cross over and become a different person. They will become ID alumni. Tomorrow, they have to think of the uncertainty that is in front of them. But for today, they're still ID students. And you know we love our ID students. Let's give a round of applause to the graduating class of 2023. But do you know who we are also proud of? The current students and all the amazing work that our people do here. The faculty, the staff, this small crew of people that makes this possible. Did you know that RCA has 420 faculty and staff members? We have 17. And today, we want to celebrate this by inviting you to the second floor of the building, where we are going to unveil our end-of-year show. This is a retrospective of everything our students, faculty, and staff have done this year. And you will notice that we have juxtaposed this end-of-year show with our 85th anniversary exhibition. So as you walk up, I urge you to look at what has happened in the past, all of those great things that have been done until today, and pay attention to what is being done today, because this is ID's future. So please join me as we move up for our end-of-the-year celebrations, hosted by our amazing professors, Martin Taylor and Tomoko Ichikawa. And afterwards, for those of you who are here in person, we have both food and alcohol. So the food is in steel case to the north side of the building, but let's go up and hear what our professors and students have to say about this year's work. Thank you, everyone. Please join us.